Hi, my friends, my confident, creative friends. Oh, wait, am I in the right spot? I may not be. I may be. Hold on. I am. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. Hello. Welcome to day 2 of the Heart of Money free 3-day series where we are looking at how to make the money you desire without compromising your heart. Today is such a special day because we're talking about the selling part. Is this the part where you see the word selling and you're like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to sell to people. I just want them to buy my stuff. If I just open the doors to my business, won't they all just come to me? Don't they know, right? Full disclosure, in my first business, I was like, okay, hey Kelly, in my first business, when I opened my photography studio, I thought as soon as I said I was in business that all the people were just going to come and they were just going to throw their money at me and be like, yes, we want to pay you. And I was never going to have to do the selling thing. It was going to be awesome. Spoiler alert, that's not what happened at all. Let me know if you've ever had an experience like that. Raise your hand, because that was my belief. I was like, what? I'm in business. Can't everybody just give me their credit cards now and throw money at me? It'd be great. But that's why I'm so passionate about this, because it does not have to feel like that hard and yucky and salesy and gross feeling that we think of when we think of high pressure sales, because that is not the place of service. Kelly says, hi, Carrie, here for the replay. And then I have to run, here for 10 minutes, then I have to catch the replay. No worries. The replay will be here. Hi, Kasha. So I'm really excited about this one, because this for me is what really started to change the game. In my photography business, when I was first learning about sales, I think I have every book about selling and money mindset and coaches, and I've done all the things, right? But it wasn't until I really started connecting with my heart and thinking about how I wanted to serve my people, as opposed to just make the sale. It was a really different thing, right? So we're going to talk about this in a little bit of a different context than you may have experienced before, because my work is really, the foundation of it is being a transformation catalyst. And I want you to see things in a different light. And I want to shift your perspective so that you can come back to being who you are and run your business in a way that's in alignment with you. So we're going to talk about this with both the combination of the psychology of selling from a soulful place, but also from the energetics of selling, because this is the piece that I think a lot of people miss. And this is the piece that a lot of financial advisors and financial planners, they actually don't speak to this. And this is the most important factor when it comes to making a sale effortlessly and with ease. So we're going to be talking about all of those things. I have my notes. I just want to make sure I didn't want to forget anything right off the bat. Yeah. So yesterday, we'll do a little bit of a recap. Yesterday, we talked all about how we have all these money stories. Maybe that's a new term for you. Maybe you've done this work for a while. Money mindset, all these things, right? And let's just break it down to what that really means. So if you have a business, or it's a side hustle, or it's a creative passion project, whatever it is, we live in a world that operates with money. That's just what we do, right? And we don't realize that we are learning the game of money, the game of investing, the game of spending from our parents, from our society, from our culture, from all of these external things that we don't even know about. And we just adopt them as a truth as a child, right? So our subconscious gets this, we call it a programming, a program. It's programmed with all of these beliefs, all of these thoughts that we just think is true for everybody. And it turns out, if you have a business or a side project that you're passionate about, or anything that's using your creative heart, you are using money in some way. And so, especially if you have a business, if you don't actually look at what this is, then it's really difficult for you to actually make the money that you want, because you will keep yourself apart from whatever is opposite of what you believe. Okay? So if you're with me so far, leave me a thumbs up or a comment. Hi, Missy. I'm so happy you guys are here for this one because the soulful selling part really is, it gets to be easy. It gets to be of service. It gets to be why you're here in the world. And P.S., most of the time, we've been conditioned that it can't be, right? Laura says, hi, day one was good. I'm so happy you got to it. How are you guys feeling about the journaling? What did you discover? If you've done it before, did you discover anything new? If you've never done it before, were you surprised to find what you found? Like, tell us all the things, because the more you guys help me through these live trainings, the more I can support you on it. But this is the piece that I really want to share. So Melissa's super excited to come back for the replay. Got to run now, but I'll be back. Perfect. This will be here when you're ready. No worries. Thank you for jumping in to say hi. So let's start with sort of the basics. As you guys are reporting back how yesterday was, let's just go over the sort of general things we're going to start with today. So first and foremost, if you're new here, you will quickly learn that I love and I'm fascinated by the psychology and the human behavior and all of those things. But more specifically, I'm fascinated by language. Language is like a window to the soul for me. I have an ability to sort of see the thing under the thing by the choice of words that we use. And this is really relevant because I want to start with the word currency. We live in a world where we need money to get things and spend on things and use things. But what money really is, hi Casey, what money really is just a stand-in for value, right? That maybe you've heard that before. So years and years and years ago, we didn't have money. We didn't have credit cards. We didn't have bank accounts. We didn't have any of that stuff. But what we did have was trading, right? So I will give you a chicken if you will give me some beans. Perfect. I will give you 2 chickens if you give me 3 things of vegetables, right? So what ends up happening is there was a system that was created in order for people to exchange value and serve each other. But over the years, things started developing and it was harder to carry around a goat than it was to have a piece of paper, right? So as a society, as a culture, as a world, we decided to collectively agree that we could use this thing, this paper thing, that would be a stand-in for value. Okay, are you with me? Is this making sense? Now, over the years, it's become even more transformed because right now we live in a world where I think cash is always king, really, but money itself has no intrinsic value, right? It has no intrinsic value on its own. It's paper and ink. That's it. That doesn't mean anything. But the meaning that we attach to it means everything. It's like all the things, right? But what happened over the years is that's becoming even less and less because here's the thing. We have an emotional connection to numbers on a screen, right? To numbers on a screen because now we use less and less cash. Not everybody, but generally speaking, there's less and less cash and more credit cards. And all of those things are just digital imprints on a screen. But we have all kinds of emotions tied to this, right? So the reason why I want to start with the word currency is because it gives us an indicator of the truth, right? I'm very interested in helping us uncover the truth of things, not beliefs, right? Truth is universal. It's a universal principle. It's a universal law for everybody everywhere. Doesn't matter, right? Laura, I see your comment. I'm going to come back. Just 1 minute. I want to stay on this. Thank you so much for giving me feedback. So the reason we're going to start with currency is because currency comes from the root word current. Okay? The root word current. That means if you think of current as in water and a river, right? Because I like to work in metaphors with my clients and with my programs because for me, that's how my brain works. I think it's easier to get. So if currency comes from the word current, and when I think of current, I think of moving and flowing, right? And in motion. So then our money is designed to be in motion. Because if you think about a river that becomes up again, that comes up against, rocks and a dam, and it becomes stagnant, what happens when that water stays stagnant? Tell me in the comments, what happens to the water if there's no flow? If it's not circulated, what happens to that water? It's stagnant. Anybody have any guesses? Anybody get chiming in here? I know we have a little bit of a delay. Laura, I'm going to read your feedback as you say this. Feedback from yesterday. Yes, discovered new. You commented that sometimes our spending becomes opposite. That was an aha for me. I didn't realize my inner rebel was hiding. Question that came up in meditation: money versus worthiness. Do they have anything to do with each other? I think no, but would love your take. Yes, Laura. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, they have so many things to do, worthiness and money. And yes, I'm so happy you said that, because we're going to get to that. Laura says it gets gross. Kelly says it gets dirty. Yes, right? It's obvious when we think about it like that, right? So Kelly, interesting that you say dirty. I want to speak to that. And Laura, you say gross, right? So what does that actually mean? It means it's not thriving, right? Casey says it gets smelly and full of algae, right? Yep. Okay. So it's not moving in the truth. One of the universal truths of life is for more life. Everything in this world operates in a cause and effect, right? So things are either moving in the direction of more life or they're disintegrating. It's just the way the world is. Everything is in constant motion. That's what happens. Now, if water is stagnant, it becomes moving in the direction of sickness and bacteria and algae. And although algae is more life, right? Interesting. But what's happening is it's not moving through its best, cleanest potential, right? Does this make sense? So then, if we think about removing that dam, removing that stuff that's keeping it stuck, and it begins to flow again, clean water comes in, and it filters out the dirty water, right? Because it's back in motion, because their new life has been breathed into it. Does this make sense? Now, I know this is sort of a silly analogy, but here's what I want you to think about. The same part of you that is hoarding money is hoarding ideas and hoarding creativity, because you have a subconscious belief that there's a finite number and you are not at cause for creating more. Now, how does this relate to the stream? Because you are essentially putting up your own dam. Okay? So when you're feeling heavy and stuck and oh my gosh, about money, you can't possibly sell, because energetically you're two universes apart. And we're going to get to why that is in a second. But here's what I want you to think about. When you think about money and you think about spending money or receiving money, I want you to come back to the root word of courage. I want you to come back to the root word of current, right? Money is designed to be exchanged. Money is designed to be flowing. Money is designed to be circulating. And because if you're jumping in now or you're catching the replay, I said in the beginning, I am fascinated with language. Here's what I want you to think about. When you say, I spend money, that means that it's done, right? It's over. But when you say that you invest money, or when you say that whatever, Kelly, no problem. When you say that I spend money, it's finite, it's over, you don't have it anymore. But when you say you invest money, it has the undercurrent of growing for you, moving in the direction of more life, right? So be careful when you're saying that. And here's the other thing. When we think about current and when we think about currency, the more that we put out, the more has to come back to us, because it's a cosmic law, right? That's the way the world works. We work in cycles, right? So if you're putting more out, you have to get more back. It's an energetic exchange. Does this make sense? Okay, so we have the idea around currency and around money, but here's why it matters. Because Vivi, I'm so happy you're here. I love how language can change our perspective. Hey, Georgianne. Yes, 100%. Like, I'm so fascinated with language, and that's one of the tools that I use as a transformation catalyst, is identifying the language people are using. I can unpack what's underneath. It's like my most favorite. I love it. I love to see. I'm like, oh, I see what your thoughts are there, right? So the reason why I wanted to start with this metaphor of a current and currency is because I want you to really release. Laura says the cosmic law. Can you spend more to that? Speak more to that, I think is what you're saying. Yes, I will in a second. So the reason why I wanted to start with that is because I wanted to give you a visual of what is happening when you get to exchange your money. Instead of saying spend, try on any word that feels more light to you. Investing, exchanging, collaborating with, playing with, all these things, right? These are very different feelings than spend, because spend feels like finite, like it's done, it's over. And I really want you to start paying attention to what is the vibe you're infusing with the energy that you're sharing. That's all we're doing is sharing, right? So if everything is energy, money is no different, but I think it's more important to think about, it's not necessarily that money is energy, because there's no intrinsic value in the money itself. It's who are you in your vibration when you play with that money, right? So if I'm paying a bill, which in my world, on my bill list, it says blessings already received, because bill has a connection for me in my brain that feels like heavy and stressful and like forced, and I just have stories around it. So I changed the language of it. So for me, I have a list and it says blessings already received. And when I sit down to pay my bills, I think about every single thing that I get to enjoy because I get to exchange this currency for the service they provided. I get to pay the electric bill because they let me connect with all of you humans. That's very different than like, oh, I have to pay the electric bill, right? And this is why it's all perspective. So the reason why we have to look at how we're feeling about money is because when it comes to selling, it's going to be really difficult for us to get behind something that we want to sell if we don't have a clear identifier about what our beliefs about money actually are, which was yesterday. But two, if our vibration is not in alignment with what we're selling, energy always goes first. So you can't possibly say all the right things and make a sale if you're not behind it, right? I'm forever saying if you aren't sold on you, nobody's going to be sold on you, because energy goes first, always. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you are coming to, okay, I got to slow my roll, friends. I'm getting excited here. And if I'm going too fast or you have questions, please comment them. Laura, I'm going to come back to your question, I promise. But I just want to roll with this for a second. So have you ever had the experience? Leave me a 3 in the comments if you've had this experience. Have you ever seen like, follow my A to Z guide around how to get the sale, or how to start your business, or how to blah, blah, blah. And some people get those results. But then there's some people over here that don't. So then it's not universal, right? What's the common factor? Well, thank you, Laura. Thank you for sharing that. So the common factor here is everybody has a different vibration. Everybody has a different energy. Maybe too often, 100%. This is why like my rebel heart refuses to give people the like success roadmap. Like that's my whole work is about going your own way and doing it your own way, because that's the only way for your own success. Another story. We're going to get to that tomorrow. But here's the reason why it matters, because The people that got the results had the inner belief system that was in alignment for that process. Their energy was a match for that process. But the people over here that didn't get it had something in the way of connecting to that. It doesn't mean they can never get it. It doesn't mean they're not meant for this. It doesn't mean anything about it. It just means there's a story somewhere that's keeping them apart from getting that result, right? Now, the reason why this matters is because mentors and coaches and books and resources, they all have value to us. But if we don't know our lens of the world, we can't access what's best for us. Does that make sense? So, energy always goes first. And if you aren't actually sold on you, it doesn't matter if you and the person next to you have the exact same conversation. One of you will get the sale and one of you will not. Why? Because there's something going on inside that's keeping you apart from that because you don't actually believe it, right? So I'll give you an example of this. When I first started out in my photography business 14 years ago, I went to a workshop, I hired a mentor, we changed all my pricing, and my first sale was going to be $1,200 for family photos. And I was like, I literally can't even choke this out. Like, I don't even know how to say those words. It felt so scary because up until then, I had been selling $100 for all your images. And this was going to be 30 images for $1,300. That's what it was. So I was like, I don't even know what to do about that. And Andrea asked a beautiful question in the group earlier this week, like, how can I charge this much if I can't afford it? I feel like other people can't afford it, essentially is what her question was. And that's what this story is about. I was a single mom. I was in a creative business. I was a luxury. I was a mid to high end boutique style photographer. I created memories. I lived for moments and I had an amazing clientele, but I didn't believe in my own self-worth, which Laura, that's what we're going to come back to. I didn't believe in what I was giving people was worthy of an investment. I was just like, no, it's good for me. It's fun. I know how to do this. I can do it. It's fine. I don't even care if I make money. Turns out you can't pay the electric bill with compliments. So I had to do some work. So my mentor encouraged me to price things out. It was $1,300. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how I'm going to say this. This is so uncomfortable, which is an indicator. If you're feeling like that, there's a lot of work to do there. Not a lot, but there is work to do there, right? So I meet with my client. We go through the whole thing. I tell them the price. And I was like, I sort of want to throw up because I don't know what to do, which two things happened here. One, had I known what I know now, I would know that that was not in alignment, right? And I would have done it a little bit differently, but I didn't know at the time, but that's fine, right? So Vivi says, yep, totally relate. I was told to charge $5,000 for a 3-month program that never worked. 100%, right? That's not for you, right? And so I told them the price, and the mom, she was like, okay, great, no problem. Can I give you a check or a credit card? And I was like, what? Like, I was like, what? Like, what? And it was so effortless. But here's why. Because I really had to look at what value was I giving them. I was giving them moments in time of what their family love really looked like, from the outside looking in. And this moment between their connection, or this moment of connection between their family that they would never experience again. They would never have this moment again. Their kids were going to grow up. This was part of their legacy. They could never get this back. So of course she was going to pay $1,300. Yeah, no questions asked, right? Because there was value for her. Now, for me, I had to do the work to get into alignment with that, meaning I had to understand my own worth, not as a human. We have our own unlimited, there is no price tag you can put on your own personal worth, but my creative work has a price, and so does yours. I don't care if you have a hobby. I don't care if it's a passion project. I don't care if it's your full-time gig or you have a 9-to-5, whatever it is. Money is attached to that. Your self-worth and your net worth have nothing to do with each other. They're very different things. Do not confuse them, right? So everything is attached to energy. Everything is attached to a vibration. Now, over the years, I did lots of work on my money story, right? That's why I feel like I'm the most qualified to teach and talk about this, because I went from selling $50, at the time they were CDs. Now they're downloadable files, but at the time they were CDs and they were little jump drives for $50. In the last 5 or 6 years of my business, I had clients investing $5,000-$6,000 in family photos, like nothing. Because the value was there and because I knew in my heart this was something that I believed in, right? It's never about the number. It's about the vibration. It's about the energetic exchange. It's about how you perceive yourself in this experience and what you're providing to them, right? How are you guys doing? You guys with me? Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know if this is resonating. Is this like speaking to your heart? Does this make sense? Do you have questions? Let me just check my notes real quick because I want to answer Laura's question. Okay. So, Laura, I'll speak to the cosmic law real quick, all about cause and effect. This is something that I in the interest of time, and also this is what my program deals with too. I'll sum it up a little bit, but it's very simply cause and effect. Karma, what you give, you get, what you reap, what? Did you hear that? I couldn't even say that. What you sow, so shall you reap. I can never say that, right? So whatever, you guys know what I'm trying to say. But whatever you put out, you get back. Karma, the law of karma, the law of cause and effect. Here's where it gets a little swirly. We can't make it an even exchange because we don't know the energetic number per se, right? It's like if I charge $5,000, somebody's going to give me $5,000. Well, no, that's not necessarily true. But if the value of that is the same, you will get that back. Does that make sense, Laura? It's basically, what you give, you get. It's just, it's cause and effect. That's what it is. And we go way more into it later, but like, for the interest of time, that's the very simple version of it, that like you can't, ultimately it will come back to you. So whatever you're putting out into the world, especially if it's just in a space where it's a energetic contribution, a lot of times people are like, I'm doing all this stuff for free and nobody's buying anything. Well, the undercurrent there is that you're not actually doing it for free. You're doing it in order to get something, right? I'm doing this for free, but really I want to get something. Well, no, if you're doing it for free because you feel good in your soul about it, that's an energetic investment. That's an energetic give. That's an energetic serve, right? And so that will come back to you. It's just a vibrational thing. Does that make sense? Right, got it. Perfect. Great. Beautiful. Okay, so when we move into the area of selling, the place that trips people up the most is pricing. And obviously, we can't get into all of the things about pricing, but the number one thing about pricing is your worthiness is attached to it, because your belief about what you should charge is attached to it. And then it makes you doubt, like, will other people buy this? And all these things, right? Oh, wait, I forgot about that other part of my story. So the reason why that first sale of $1,300 was so valuable to me was because it showed me the thing that I was most afraid of. And that was, if I can't afford this, nobody else can. And this was a view that I saw the world with on so many other areas, right? So I told myself this story of, if I can afford this, nobody else can afford this. So I kept my pricing really low forever. And I actually just wrote an article for the Rising Tide Society that comes out in February. And it's all about, you can never price low enough for a yes. Like, there's always going to be somebody that is going to say no. You're too expensive. You're not expensive enough. Like, there are all the spectrum, right? But the reason why this was a huge breakthrough for me was because I realized just because I can't afford it does not mean that I get to project onto everybody else what I think they should use their money on. So leave me a 5 in the comments if this resonates for you. What this typically looks like is, and if you were in the group before, then you saw I commented to Andrea where it was, she had something to sell and she was struggling with the amount that it cost because she didn't feel comfortable buying it herself. So she just automatically wouldn't sell it because she felt like she couldn't do it, so nobody else could do it, right? And so I was so happy she shared this because for me, that was my experience too. And then I did all this work and I, shifted my own perspective and realized everybody has different core values. Everybody has a different set of, what's important to them, right? So one of my clients, she only buys organic everything for her kids for food. They only buy organic things. They never have anything that's not organic. I mean, I don't want to say never. They probably go out to eat, whatever. But like their value is organic, everything they can possibly get. Now, she also will not go out and do activities with the kids because she doesn't really care. Like they can, going to like adventure parks or theme parks or whatever. She's like, we can just hang out at the house. We can do things as a family. We can play games, whatever. But to buy everything organic is a value for her. Now I have another client where she could care less about organic stuff, but she loved purses and shoes and fashion, and she would spend $1,000 on a purse and she loved it. Everybody's different, right? So if I have a product that has to do with health and wellness and somebody is interested in it and I think it's expensive, well, relative to what? That's the question, right? Relative to medical bills, relative to, having to take medications, like what's the lens? Or if I have a product that can help people upgrade their life, they're ultimately saving money when they aren't in a job that's a soul suck and they're making money from something they love and their quality of life is far better because they have a system, right? It's a very different thing. So that's why we have to really look at what is the price that's in alignment for me? What can I get behind? What do I feel great about? But more than that, can I let go of what I think other people will pay? That is a losing game. If you are going to price things based around what you think other people are going to pay, you're never going to put stuff out there. You're going to hold yourself apart from it every time because somebody's always going to say it's too expensive and somebody's always going to say that it's not enough, right? There is all this evidence out there where people see or where people have said if they perceive something as too inexpensive, they don't believe the value's there. Of course, there are lots of other times that we hear stories about that's too expensive, that's priced too high. It has nothing to do with pricing. It has to do with values. Is this making sense? Okay, so money is really just an amplifier, right? It just amplifies who and what you are. If you're a good person, then you have more money. You get to do more good in the world. If you are a not good person, you're probably going to make more choices that are not really that great for everybody. It's just an amplifier. That's all that it is. Now, here's the thing I want you to consider. Let's pretend that money was a relationship. Let's pretend that you had a friend, money, and every time that friend came around, you treated it the way, hey, Melissa, you treated money the way you might be treating it now. So that might look like as soon as money comes in, you're fearful and you're like, I know you're just going to leave. I know I don't have enough. I know it's, we don't even have a lot of time together. You said you're going to stick around and you don't, right? Or as soon as it shows up, you're like, I wanted you here yesterday. Where were you? Right? Would you treat a friend like that? I don't think so. Would you treat your partner like that? Would you ignore it completely? Would you be like, I'm not talking to you. I'm annoyed. I don't even want to look at you. I'm so frustrated. It sounds silly and ridiculous, right? But think about it. If everything's energy, then what is the vibration that you're matching? So you're saying like, I want more money, I want more money. And as soon as money comes, you're like, well, you're not enough. Crazy, right? So really start to look at what is your energy saying about money, right? That's what we're really looking at. What are you deciding about money before it even comes to you? Because that's really what soulful selling is all about. It's really checking in with your heart and saying like, oh, right. I want to help people. And I can't help people if they don't help themselves. And we are in a place where we are not doing anything to anyone. We are simply saying, hey, you have a problem? Hey, I have a solution. Hey, do you want to talk about what it might look like to get you that help? There's nothing painful or manipulative or, yucky about it. There's no high pressure. There's no need for any of that. There's no need for high pressure sales. There's no need for tactics. There's no need for, if you don't buy now, you don't get this. Because what you're ultimately doing when you do that is you're setting up your relationship to fail. Because people are buying out of scarcity. They're buying out of a need that they're afraid they're not going to be good enough, or they don't have enough, or they're not whole and complete as they are, and they're missing these things. They're coming to the table at a disadvantage already because you set them up in that container. Now, no judgment on that. We've been trained to do this, right? There are so many things out there that say you have to use a tripwire, you have to use scarcity, you have to use timers. It has to be, a high pressured thing. People don't move if there isn't an end time. Sure. Can you sell like that? Yeah, you can. Do you need to? No. No, especially if you're a heart-centered, purpose-driven, creative, intentional, good human. You don't. You just don't have to do that. You might have got all this evidence that other people told you have to do that, but I'm here to tell you the only thing you need for soulful selling is to know that you can help people, be 100% behind whatever it is that you want to do, and let them know that you have it. There's nothing yucky about that, right? And so when we do that, our friend money wants to come play with us. Our friend wants to show up because we're like, hey, come over here. Hey, come hang out with me. I'm so happy I get to see you for a little bit. I'm so happy we get to go on this adventure together. I'm so happy that somebody invited you along, right? That's a totally different vibe than being pissed off that as soon as somebody comes, they have to leave, or they don't show up on time, or there's not enough, you don't get to hang out enough. It's crazy. It's crazy. You would never treat your partner like that. You'd never treat your friend like that. You just wouldn't. So soulful selling is really coming back to like, what are you sold on? What do you know, like the back of your hand is based in surface? What is from your heart that you are putting in the world? Is it your art? Is it your photography? Is it your vision? Is it your coaching? Is it your healing? There is transformation in the transaction. And here's what I know. Free content and paid content are energetically two universes apart. Now, that's not to say you can't get transformation from free content. You can. But the real transformation is when people step up and bet on themselves. Is really where people say like, holy shit, I've been doing this way my whole life. I feel like I want to do it differently. I'm really excited. And the place that I want my people to invest in with me, in any of my programs or my one-on-one coaching or whatever it is from the place that I operate from. And I call that being scarce-sighted. If I'm a little bit scared and I'm a little bit excited, then I know it's an alignment for me. Because if I'm fearless, it's just sort of reckless. But if I'm like just super excited, I'm just like, I don't know that I'm going to get a transformation because it's just fun and like there's no challenge there, right? So we really want to look at like, how can we give people an experience where I'm showing up in my heart, I'm putting my heart out into the world. I know that I am worthy of this energetic investment, energetic exchange, energetic value, and allow them to make a decision that feels good for them. That's it. Right? That's it. How are you guys doing? How are you feeling? How is this landing for you? Have you heard this before? Have you never heard this before? Is this connecting for you? Reika! Hi, sweet friend. Let me know. How are you feeling about it? So let me say one more thing. So the number one thing I want to speak to real quick about soulful selling is the linchpin for soulful selling. And that is confidence. Now, confidence comes from experience. Confidence comes from being brave over and over and over. How do I know this? Because that's all I've done in my whole life, over and over and over. Confidence is the thing that you have right now already within you. It just might be misguided. And here's what I mean about that. Laura says, I like the relationship analogy. That's insightful, beautiful. I'm so glad that serves you. I know for me, that really was a game changer when I started thinking about my money as a relationship. Like, am I loving and nurturing to this? Or am I being a little bit of a bitch? Am I being a little bit of a, sassy, like entitled, not very centered being? And truthfully, when I'm under stress and when we have anxiety and when we have fear, our body is in a literal state of fight or flight. And so we cut off the creativity of our brain. So if we have a baseline of anxiety all the time, this is why doing money work is so on my heart. And really the thing I want to focus in on this whole entire year, to be honest, is because I keep seeing over and over this undercurrent of fear around money, which is robbing us from our best creative self. Whether that's having relationships with our partner, relationships with our kids, relationships with our community, all these things, right? If I have a baseline anxiety, I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills, or I don't know where my next client's coming from, you have a chemical cocktail going through your body that is literally shutting off the other organs of your survival because your body thinks like, I got to prepare for this battle, right? So for me, on my heart, my greatest desire in the world is to reduce suffering. And this for me, especially as someone that had a creative business and now helps entrepreneurs in their creative businesses, whatever it is, their mission work in the world, I know without a system, it feels like that baseline all the time, right? Laura says, I go into freeze instead of fight or flight. Helpful to see it that way. Yes. I mean, all the same thing, right? Fight, flight, freeze. Those are the same chemical cocktail runs through your body where your body is preparing to go to battle. So you can't possibly come up with the creative, intuitively led ideas, right? How could you find your aligned offer if you're constantly trying to survive? Of course you couldn't make that sale. Energetically, you're totally apart, So here's what I want to say about the confidence piece. I know that everybody says, I want more confidence. And I actually want you to consider, you have all the confidence you need right now, right this red hot minute, even if you don't feel like it. And here's how I know. Because you have gathered up, actually, let me ask you this first. If this has happened to you, leave me an emoji in the comments. Your favorite emoji, whatever you want it to be. You have tried to sell something and it didn't sell, and then you made a story that it didn't work. So you got fearful and you never did it again. Or you did it again, but you way underpriced it. Or you did it again and you way undersold it. Because I know for me, the very first coaching thing I did, it was 6 years ago, and I did a money challenge. And my coach at the time said, offer an intensive at the end, which I did. And I didn't fully execute it, but I didn't see it as an experiment. I saw it as an indicator of whether I was going to be successful or not. And we never talked about the fact that there's an opportunity for everything. And I didn't know that other people made offers all the time that didn't sell. Okay? So I do this challenge. I make this offer. Nobody buys it. And for 6 months, I made it mean that I wasn't a good coach. Even though I had been coaching other entrepreneurs in my photography world years before. I stepped into this coaching arena and I totally gave my power away. Here's what I didn't know. It was just evidence that my feedback was saying, you need to tweak something. But nobody told me that part. Nobody said, not everybody buys. Not everybody sells out a program. I honestly thought that when you made an offer, that you would just sell it out, however many you wanted. This is the power of awareness. This is the power of having someone in your corner saying, oh no, that's not it. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. We just tweak the messaging, or we tweak the price point, or we look at what was our energy and alignment for. Whatever. Right? So I forget why I was telling you that story. But my point is, I was asking if you had ever felt this way, where you created a story around it, and then you gave yourself evidence that it didn't work. And here's what you really did. You really gave yourself confidence in the direction that you didn't want to go. That's it. Which is really good news. Because all we have to do is realign your compass and redirect your focus to what you do want, so we can build the confidence muscle in the direction you would like to go. So you might have tons of confidence in the fact that it doesn't work for you. That's just a story. I love you, but it's just a story, right? So we want to redirect your confidence into the direction of what you do want. Does that make sense? Okay. So this was a way longer training today, but it felt really relevant and it felt like it needed to be this way. And I'm so excited that you guys were here for it and I could answer your questions. And I really hope that it is landing for you. Do you have any questions specifically about soulful selling that we didn't go over, that you want clarity on, that we did go over, anything like that? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, I want to share with you guys that the Heart of Money program is on early bird right now. I was going to wait to announce this, but it just felt like today was the day. So the early bird for Money from the Heart, what, Money from the Heart? No. What? No. The Heart of Money, but it is Money from the Heart, so that's fine. The Heart of Money is on early bird right now. It's open for enrollment for $333, or you can opt in for a VIP option, which is $777. The VIP option gives you a one-on-one call with me, a bonus group call, and unlimited messaging support within the container. This program is 5 weeks long. It has 2 weeks of training where I'm going to be teaching, and we have a separate community. And then it's 3 weeks of integration. What does that mean? It means that we have the content and the teaching that is already done. And then we have 3 weeks together so I can help you actually install these upgraded beliefs around money. so we can actually get your business making offers that are in alignment for you, so that you're offering things that you're selling, so that you're offering things that you're enjoying, so that you know your numbers, so that we can look at your money story, all of those things. So early bird is open now. It's 3:33. This is exponentially lower than I wanted to typically, or than I initially wanted to offer. But I'll tell you why. Because I'm doing this in a different structure than I typically do it. So the next time I run this program, it will be at least double, if not more. This is not a high pressure thing. This is not a, you better get in now, is none of those things. But it does feel very important for me that I'm totally transparent with you, because I want to be upfront and I want you to understand what's happening. So I've never offered it in a format like this before. I've done it in a little bit of a similar way, but a little bit different. And there's something about this new format that I have laid out that just feels right. And so I'm significantly offering savings to you in order for you to give me feedback about it as we go that way. So $333, you can break it up into 2 payments if you'd like, or $777. You can also break that up into 2 payments if you like. That is essentially one-on-one support for this. That's like crazy, because my one-on-one support is a lot more than that monthly. So, which is totally fine. Some people also decide that they want one-on-one support and they get the programs complimentary. So if you are looking for one-on-one support and you want to do this anyway, we can talk about that too. Just send me a message. So this is on early bird just until Thursday night. At Thursday night, midnight Eastern Standard Time, it goes to $444 and $888. Payment plans available. Send me what you want. Send me a message or comment below and I can send you the links. But I promise you, hey Krista, I promise you this is the work that is the linchpin of everything else for you. Because if your worthiness isn't cleaned up, if you don't know what you believe about money, if you don't understand your numbers, if you don't feel like you can do it your own way, if you don't feel like you can make sales without being a yucky car salesman, if you don't have the confidence in what you offer, you will spin your wheels over and over. How do I know that? Because I did it myself. And I don't want that for you. So if you want to actually go deeper into this and actually upgrade these mental programs around money, which have a ripple effect in every other area of your life, I would really love to invite you into this program. And I highly encourage you to take advantage of the early bird because, like I said, Thursday at midnight, it's going to regular pricing. And it will never be this low because I want your feedback as we go through the program together. So, and if you want specific details, I mean, I really believe like if you know it's for you and you feel the pull, I think it's about trusting yourself, but I'm happy to talk you through it if that's, I will never talk people through objections. I don't believe in that. I will walk you through and tell you if it's a good fit for you or if it's not. I don't believe in inviting people that are not a good fit. So that's not how I run my show. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that early bird is open and also wanted to let you know that it will be going to full retail on Friday. So that is that. This was amazing and so fun and I loved it. And it's some of the most life-changing stuff when we really look at like, what would it mean to actually have a relationship with money where there's more wealth in your life overall, right? There's money in your bank account. You have beautiful relationships. Your health is great. Like wealth is so much than just money. And that's really why I decided to do this and to make it the heart of money, because it's not about the money. It's about your life. It's about your quality of life. It's about the memories you're making with your kids and your partner and your family and your world and the impact that you're making and the gifts that you're sharing. But you can't do that when you have such an undercurrent of fear. You can't do that when you don't have a system. You can't do that when you don't know that you actually have things that are keeping you apart from the life that you want because it's your only view of the world. This is never done. This work is never done. It's never finished. And getting support around it is the fastest way to collapse time. You can 100% do this on your own. No question about it. But I promise you, if you want to go faster and you want to go there together, you will get results in ways that you could never, ever imagine. And I can only say that because that's what happened to me. I looked at somebody who was doing what I wanted to do, and I had them show me. And you know what? We both got to grow. And that's really the kind of people I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like someone that just wants the quick, short, temporary relief. I'm interested in ending this suffering, these stories that we have in our head that we didn't even put there. And money touches everything. So why not start there? I've had a really significant internal struggle of like, I just want to help people end the suffering. And for me, it's like all the things. I want to talk about all the psychology and the subconscious beliefs and all the things that are keeping us stuck and gaining the confidence. And that's all great. But I need people to know that there's an actual tactical way to do that through money. And it feels so triggering to so many of us. So that's why I'm feeling even more called to talk about it more and more and really focus in on it, because it's never done. There's always more to look at, right? And my story was, I shouldn't talk about this because I don't have it perfect. For years. No, nobody wants perfect. I don't want perfect. If I'm perfect and I've like reached my potential, well then what's left? That's not it. This is the game of life. This is the journey. This is the experience of it, right? So I just want to take all the information that I've sifted and sorted and acquired, and I want to, siphon it down to what is most important to you and most potent for you so that you can get the result faster than I did. Faster than wasting years and money and all these things on like trying to find out what's right for you. Your heart knows, So that is what is on my heart today for Soulful Selling. I hope that it lands on your heart and is resonant for you. I hope that it serves you. I would love to know if it's impactful, if it's helpful, what else you would like support with. And as far as what your action items are for today, I would love for you to journal around, what are you pricing your services at? What are you pricing your products at? Do they feel in alignment for you, or do you feel like somebody else told you that it should be a certain price? Because we're going to be looking at numbers tomorrow. So I'd love for you to just start playing with like, and if you don't have anything to offer yet, like if you were to offer it, what would you offer it at? Because it's really interesting when we start looking at the numbers. So that's your action item for today. Let me know in the group how you're feeling, what's coming up for you, how I can support you. And we are diving in tomorrow to playing for profit. That means we get to talk about numbers, but not in a like restrictive and cutting sort of way. We're going to look at it in an expansive and really beautiful way that we get to lead ourselves. So that's what's happening tomorrow. All right, my friends, I love you. Thank you so much for being with me. I will check in with you in a little bit, but please let me know how it's going for you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.